Hello, this is Dr. Alex Vasquez, and this is Part 1, Introduction on the topic of psoriasis. Information in this presentation comes mostly from the research I reviewed in my book, Understanding and Treating Psoriasis and Psoriatic Arthritis, a guide for patients and doctors using integrative and functional medicine. This information was updated from my previous publications on this topic in my textbook, Integrative Rheumatology and Chiropractic and Naturopathic Mastery of Common Clinical Disorders. All of these books and additional information are available from my website, optimalhealthresearch.com. The books are available from amazon.com and many other bookstores. Before we start the information on psoriasis, what I'd like to do here is give you a quick overview of my educational and professional background so that you'll have some understanding of the perspective from which I speak. My education is that of a Doctor of Chiropractic, graduate of University of Western States in Portland, Oregon, Doctor of Naturopathic Medicine, graduate of Bastyr University near Seattle, Washington, and a Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine, graduate of University of North Texas Health Science Center in Fort Worth, Texas. I've certainly read thousands of articles and books, and I've amassed thousands of hours of postgraduate training in seminars, clinics, and hospitals, many years of experience working with thousands of patients. Publications and presentations: I'm an international lecturer to physicians and clinicians on integrative medicine and functional medicine, as well as various aspects of preventive health care and nutrition. I've written several textbooks for doctors and health science students. I've authored approximately 100 articles and letters in professional magazines and peer-reviewed scientific journals. My current professional activities include acting as an associate, adjunct, and affiliate faculty member for several universities and postgraduate institutions, compiling research, conducting research, and authoring books and articles, as well as seeing patients. I'm also active in healthcare product design, and I have more information on my seminars, presentations, and textbooks at optimalhealthresearch.com, and more information about my private practice within the scope of naturopathic medicine here in Portland, Oregon at healgrowthrivemedicine.com. So regarding the formatting of this presentation, my initial intent was to review all three of these articles within the same presentation. However, when I did that, the length of the presentation was 25 minutes, which exceeds the 15-minute limit on YouTube. So what I've had to do with this first presentation is actually split it up into the first three presentations. Once I get to the fourth presentation, I'll try to format them more concisely so I can review more individual research articles in fewer slides. The second article that I want to look at in this review discusses the concept of molecular mimicry and immune cross-reactivity. The citation that we're going to look at here is Clinical and Experimental Immunology, September of 1999. So molecular mimicry is the recognition of the fact that certain human tissues have proteins, and those proteins have amino acids, and those amino acids are combined in certain sequences. And interestingly enough, some bacteria and viruses even, and other invading microorganisms actually have the same protein sequences on their coat or in certain proteins or peptides that they might make. They're exactly identical to the human amino acid sequences. So we call this molecular mimicry because the molecules, even though they come from two different species, in this case a human and we might say a bacteria, those molecules actually mimic each other because they have the same amino acid sequence. So that's what molecular mimicry means in the context of discussing diseases associated with chronic inflammation and infections. So when those proteins and peptides have similar amino acid sequences and the body mounts an immune response against those amino acid sequences, if it's fighting a bacteria, let's say, that has a certain sequence, and that sequence also happens to be found in human tissues, the immune response will cross-react while fighting off the infection or the bacteria. It'll cross-react with the body tissues of the human, and we'll end up with tissue inflammation as the body starts attacking the tissues in the human body, even though it's quote-unquote trying or supposed to be fighting off the bacteria. So let's look at this distillation of this data, which comes from my book on psoriasis. Psoriasis, as many of us know, has a strong association with infections by group A beta hemolytic streptococcal bacteria, also known as Streptococcus pyogenes. The authors of this study took T cells, these are white blood cells, they took T cells from the blood of 17 psoriatic patients and 17 healthy controls, and then challenged these T cells with keratin from skin. Keratin is a protein found in skin, and with M peptides from bacteria to monitor for increased production, which would mean an assertive immune response, increased production of gamma interferon, which implies specificity for the corresponding amino acid sequences. Results of this investigation showed that the strongest responses were observed to a peptide from keratin 17 from skin, which shares an amino acid sequence with the M protein from the bacteria. The specific sequence, as you can see here, was ALEEAN, meaning that what they found when they looked at the molecular sequence, let's say, of the amino acids in these two proteins, they found that the human skin protein, keratin 17, had the same amino acid sequence as the M protein from the Streptococcus pyogenes bacteria. So, in the concept, or in the model of looking at things from the concept of molecular mimicry and immune cross-reactivity, we could say that we've got really good data here now showing that not only do we meet the criteria for molecular mimicry because the amino acid sequence is identical between the bacterial protein and the human protein, but also that these patients actually have an immune system that behaves in accord with the concept of immune cross-reactivity, meaning that when these immune cells are sensitized against the bacterial M protein, they cross-react with the protein from the skin. So again, this has been Dr. Alex Vasquez. If you're interested in my books, they're available on the internet at optimalhealthresearch.com and other bookstores such as Amazon.com. My books include Integrative Orthopedics, Integrative Rheumatology, Chiropractic and Naturopathic Mastery of Common Clinical Disorders, Integrative Medicine and Functional Medicine for Chronic Hypertension, which is an evidence-based monograph on the treatment of high blood pressure, and also Understanding and Treating Psoriasis and Psoriatic Arthritis, a guide for patients and doctors using integrative medicine and functional medicine. Thank you for your interest in these topics and in my publications and clinical work. For additional information, please see my websites at optimalhealthresearch.com and healgrowthrivemedicine.com for my naturopathic medicine practice here in Portland, Oregon.